You guys thought I was done with Sonic. What? Now you may be asking yourself, is that Sonic 06 I see? And the answer is sort of. So this is a fun little fan project called Project 06. Basically, one fearless dev is attempting to remake Sonic 06, or to make like a PC version. It's a one-man team pretty much. I haven't checked too much into the credits, but I'll leave links so you can check out the whole thing yourself. But it's basically one guy remaking all of Sonic 06. I've played around with this little. This is just a demo. It's far from finished. But so far, what we've got is extremely good, and I am a huge fan of this. So I wanted to just do a little gameplay video for the channel. Really quick, I'll just show off some stuff. There's a lot of options for video settings. I'm playing with things a little lower, so that way my computer doesn't freak out. It gets the game running fine, but I definitely noticed there's a little bit more of a hum coming out of my computer tower. But it's good. For what it's worth with the lower settings, it still actually looks pretty good, so I'm very happy with all of that. As far as game settings, they have a lot of cool options. You can choose like camera inversion and stuff. You can toggle dialogue. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can even change the language. Personally, for me, I do enjoy the Japanese voices for Sonic, so I have those enabled, which was not a thing you could do in the original game either. There's just kinds of like fun animation things you can adjust. You can adjust audio settings, and for me personally, hang on, I always like having my music a little bit louder than the sound effects and voices. Just a weird little preference that I have, but I enjoy it very much. And then, let's see, extras, game room. If you look at this, there's tons of stuff. If you know anything about the history of Sonic 06 and the poor management that ended up crippling the game, there's a lot of stuff from older builds of the game that were a lot farther along than the final product was. So this remake in Unity adds a lot of that stuff back in. There was animations that Sonic had in the Tokyo Game Show demo that did not make it to the final version of the game. So you can enable those. I like having them on because they look really nice. With the camera, there's settings. You can get a lock-on reticle for your homing attack, which is extremely helpful. It was something that didn't exist in Sonic games at the time, but it's really good. With Sonic spinning into a ball in the original version, the animation was like really gross. This one makes it look more like the Sonic Adventure animations, so that's another thing I really like. It's such a minor detail, but with your homing attack, this kind of gives it a weightier feel. It like curves the angle of the homing attack. Just something that looks a lot more like the Sonic Adventure style games and less like the modern Sonic games. Now, I don't even really use the gem shoes because it was just a feature I didn't really like from Sonic 06, but they have, you can use them the way they originally were in Sonic 06, or you can use this custom version that's a little modified. Just really tons of cool customizable options. When you get upgrades for characters, you can choose to have the characters actually wear those upgrades, like in Sonic Adventure, or you can turn it off and just have the characters be in their base models, which is really cool. There's alternate music from the E3 versions of the games. You can do tons of stuff with the UI. There's a fun little test stage that you can play around in. We'll get to this later, but yeah, seriously, there is so much cool stuff in this. Now we'll be going, the only thing you can do for now is act trial. Like, you can only pick specific levels. There's no like story mode yet. As far as the 3 playable characters and their campaigns in the game, you can only play as Sonic at the moment. And there are no boss fights, as you'll see in a second. Like, these are all the levels. You can't do any of the boss fights, those aren't ready yet, but they do have all of the levels ready. So you can basically just play through all of the levels in Sonic's version of the story. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to give it a good old start with Wave Ocean. And you're like, yeah, it's Sonic 06, it looks exactly the same, but look how fast that loading screen was. And look how smooth the gameplay is. That nice 60 FPS and everything. And yeah, you'll notice I got my lock-on reticle. I got my homing attack animations that look like Sonic Adventure style, same with the spin dash. It's so weird to be playing this because it looks just like Sonic 06, but all of the animations work properly on the characters. Everything feels really smooth and satisfying. It really is amazing. There's nice little touches like your light dash is now mapped to a different button than your action button, which was a huge problem with Sonic 06. That's just been fixed. The guy who made this just thought of so much stuff. And it really is strange to be playing a version of Sonic 06 that feels good to control. If you know anything about the way that the original Sonic 06 was, I feel like you really just have to... You have to play this game to understand, like, everything that was wrong about it. Because there's just something that inherently sucks about the controls. They feel so stiff, and it just feels like you can't do anything you want. Whereas with this version, like, everything feels, like, really smooth and nice. And that's the thing. Now you'll see I'm playing as Tails. Even though they only have Sonic's campaign, they do have, like, the other playable characters that show up in Sonic's campaign. And so you get to play as Tails and Knuckles, and the way they handle is so nice. It feels so good compared to the original. This was originally one of, like, the worst aspects of Sonic 06, was getting to play as, like, the side characters. Whoa, that was close. Now, like, playing as Tails and Knuckles feels super good. Nothing about it feels, like, glitchy. One of the other cool things that they've added, there was a lot of unused voice clips throughout the game in the original that provided a lot more story context. This version of the game uses those voice clips and even, like, adds in some, like, cutscenes every now and then. Oof. The Mach Speed sections are completely overhauled. In the original, if you, like, smacked into something, like a wall, you'd keep your momentum anyways and, like, clip through stuff, and it was really gross. Whereas now, like, Sonic kind of, like, bounces off of stuff and reacts to things like that. As well as one of the most egregious things about the Mach Speed is that you could not control, like, you couldn't steer left or right in the air when you jumped. You would have a very, like, Castlevania NES, like, locked jump arc. Whereas now everything feels very free-flowing, very nice. And that was our first level. It's really just such a strange thing to be playing a version of this game that's good. My history with Sonic 06 was a bit of an interesting one, because for me, I did not play this game right when it came out. It was not like the massive disappointment to me like it was for a lot of other big Sonic fans. I bought my copy of the game in a bargain bin for $9. And when I played the original, I was like, yeah, this is $9 is a fair price for this game. But with this overhaul, they're really like going the extra mile to make it be an awesome game, and I respect that greatly. What was their name? Chaos X. I'm sorry if I don't remember the name, but you did a good job. So now we've got a level here where we gotta carry Elise. Unfortunately, one of the things you can't do is remove her from the game entirely, because everyone hates her, but for what it's worth, the actual design of these levels they're pretty good. A lot of the levels where you play as Sonic carrying Elise, I actually do think they have good level design. Again, it's just that the controls suck. But this way, with like everything being kind of touched up, I actually find these levels where you're carrying Elise to be pretty pleasant. I can respect a bit of what the original vision for the game was a bit more now that I can see a version of it that works, that's a bit more stable. And mechanics like... whoops. Mechanics like having Elise create the barrier so you can walk across, like, the sand pits and stuff. It's interesting. I think maybe just because 06 didn't turn out right, a lot of these, like, game design ideas are a little underrated. But there is, like, this version of the game really just shows that there's a lot that's salvageable from Sonic 06 when it actually works. I would even personally say, just because it's been so long since we've had an adventure-styled game, truthfully, I enjoy this kind of gameplay a whole lot more than, like, the boost gameplay that we've gotten from the past couple of games. And if it weren't for, you know, 06 having the hilariously bad storyline and all that it did, if we got, like, a brand new Sonic game that had a control scheme very similar to what, this, you know, Unity... this Unity fan creation has, I think it would have, like, grounds to be, like, the best Sonic game ever made. Just because something feels really nice about this. It takes a lot of what made the adventure games really good, but even then, in terms of controls, it feels better than the adventure games. And so I personally would love to see Sega take a stab at this. But as we've seen with things like Mania, for the past while, Sonic fans have really been putting in the work to make quality content, whereas Sega themselves as a company, with a lot of respect for what they do, they've been slacking just a little bit, and I think skimping a lot on Sonic. So in this day and age, it's really refreshing to play a Sonic game that feels as awesome as this. And that's Dusty Desert. One of the things just about Sonic 06, Sonic's character model and, like, the design of his character, I've always felt was, like, really ugly. And they just tried making Sonic look really, like, edgy, and it's just kind of gross. But with the cleaned up animations, the better lighting, so he doesn't look like that disgusting, muddy, dark blue that he was before, and just a little bit more, like, facial animation added. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, my controller's drifting. I'm playing this with an Xbox 360 controller, and it's not the best controller, but I don't know, what can you do? But yeah, they've done a few touch-ups to Sonic's character model, and I think it shows. It looks a little bit better. In terms of just like lighting and visual effects, all the stuff they've done, it makes the game a lot nicer. Now, again, if you've seen anything about... If you've seen anything about the hoverboard sections in the original version of this game, you know that they are awful. The controls are just terrible and, like, broken, even. Look no further than, like, the hilarious Game Grumps clips of them, like, glitching the little snowboard. Yeah, this version of of these snowboard sections, it controls way nicer. I didn't even know this was here. That's neat. This is a little secret area. It controls way nicer. If you're ever going too slow or get stuck, you have this little kick move so you can speed up. The physics of it are a lot smoother, a lot more manageable. Your ability to jump actually works. And there's a lot more, like, animations to it, too. It's not just, like, Sonic standing on a hoverboard, not reacting to anything. They really outdid themselves with, like, the snowboarding stuff. Uh-oh. It's an avalanche. I gotta move. Oh. And that's the thing, too. You actually have to put effort into, like, timing your jumps right and everything. So it creates an actual challenge in terms of gameplay. It's not just like you're moving down a fixed path like you would be with maybe, say, like, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2 or anything like that. They actually require you to, like, to move, to jump, all of that. And you can, like, hold down your jump and crouch to, like, get more distance when you go off ramps. A lot of cool mechanics like that, man. Bounce Bracelet feels a lot smoother as well. I mean, well, okay, I call it Bounce Bracelet because of Sonic Adventure 2, but, like, yeah, the bounce ability, a lot less stiff. It really makes me happy. And now I got Tails with me, yeah! And of course, as everyone knows, the one, like, real, like, redeeming quality of Sonic 06, the thing that was good even in the original version was the soundtrack. This soundtrack is extremely nice. Really does a good job of, like, getting your blood pumping. But finally, with Project 06, you can get a version of this game that doesn't suck to enjoy alongside the soundtrack. Should be a switch somewhere. Is it down here? It is. Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna play as Tails for this little section right here. This part's pretty cool, because it's almost kind of like a stealth section. You've got to avoid these searchlights, or else they'll, like, summon more enemies and all that. And it really does a good job taking advantage of Tails' controls and being able to fly. There is I really think people looked over the level design for this game just because of how bad everything controls. And so it's really nice to see a version of this that keeps the spirit of what Sonic 06 was supposed to be intact, but really just does its best to make everything work. Okay, I'm getting shot. I'm having a bit of a hard time seeing what's going on. You can recenter the camera behind you, which is a nice little thing to have. Is there a switch somewhere? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for. I came from that way. I need to get this thing open. Is there... Oh, there it is. It's like right in plain sight. Okay. So with Tails, you can throw these little, like, bombs full of rings. And, it's really nice because with the updated touches of the game, you get a homing reticle to see where it's going. And it just makes, like, the sections where you play as Tails a lot easier to understand. Whoops. I ran right into that. There's Tails. Okay. I really like this part of the level because it's very expansive and gives you a lot of ways to move around and explore, which for the past while with the modern Sonic games, there hasn't been anything even close to exploration. Speed up. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm going fast. And see, now because of the way the game controls properly in this version, I was able to, like, do some big skips, jump over bottomless pits and all that. It's amazing how much this captures the feel of the Sonic Adventure games. For a long while, people were saying like, "Oh, Sonic 06 is the proper Sonic Adventure 3." Obviously, Sonic Adventure fans were upset about that because even if it's like Sonic Adventure games, if the game kind of sucks to play, then it's not a lot of fun. But now that there's a version of this game that's good, it's just extremely satisfying to play. You'll hear me say that a lot. I'm trying not to like walk in circles with my commentary, but yeah. Next we have Crisis City. This one was my favorite level from the original game, and it's only 1,000 times better now, as you'll see in a second. These lightning fast loading screens. So I love what they did there. That was some unused dialogue. The original version of the game just had you start the level. They actually added in an entire cutscene to show that little interaction between Sonic and Shadow. That was something just completely made by them and added to this, and it's just so cool that they would do that. They've added cutscenes to the games in spots where there weren't cutscenes before, and it just adds a lot more personality. I've always really been a big fan of Crisis City, and for a while the only good version of Crisis City that we had to play was the Sonic Generations version. But visually, I think this level is super cool. Seeing all of just like the explosions and destroyed remains of the city, as well as just like all the fire and the music for this level in particular is absolutely pretty. This section is really cool coming up. So we've got grind rails, and they've fixed the mechanics of the grind rails so much in this version. You can actually, when you hold B to do that little spin on the rails, it actually does like make you go faster. You can hop from different rails, like left and right. You can hop from parallel rails without like fear of getting flung off. It's really just amazing, this version of the game and everything that it has to offer. Seeing a true Crisis City experience. Everything's smooth, like the frame rate's really nice, everything looks good. It really is just something amazing. I'm so impressed by this fan-made remake. It's a lot of nice visual flair with like the windows on the buildings exploding. Whoop. Gotta be careful not to die there. Can I shortcut? Oh, no, I did not. I'm actually gonna go back and get that checkpoint, just because I don't trust myself to survive. Oh, hey, there's invincibility. I did not know that was there. That's neat. Look at that. I'm discovering secrets. That was the trailer shot right there. I really think Sonic games are at their best when they do just the levels with the really high octane energy, sweeping camera angles. Oh hey, there's a little thing to swing off of. I did that by accident. Alrighty. We actually got some kind of serious platforming going on right here. Can't just, you know, run forward and move fast. We gotta be aware of the terrain. We gotta time things right. And that's really neat. No! I messed up. Well, I won't be getting an S rank on this level, but that's fine. I've already played. Oh! Alright. I'm messing up a lot. I've already played through this game plenty. I don't feel the need to be a perfect completionist. Especially because out of the Sonic games, as we've already seen on the channel... I keep messing that up. As we've already seen on the channel, Heroes. Sonic Heroes is my jam. Sonic 06 I am not specialist. I'm not experienced with this game. There we go. So now we're moving on to the final phase of Crisis City for Sonic, the Mach Speed. Now this segment right here is like infamously difficult in the original, and I gotta say it's not any easier in terms of the level design of things. In terms of the controls, it handles way better, and I'm really happy about that. but this part is still really hard. And it really takes a lot of concentration. It's very important to use the light dash, because that's what speeds Sonic up. But also, if you're going too fast, it can be very hard to keep control of yourself. All the while you're running from the flaming tornado. Here comes a billboard! It's a nice piece of dialogue that was not in the original. Gotta jump over that truck. And we made it. Nice. Just my day. That's got to be my favorite thing about Junichi Kanemaru with the Japanese voice for Sonic. So he's an English teacher, right? That's like one of his famous things, and so he just says a lot of crud in English. And it's really charming. I can always respect somebody making the effort to like really learn my language and speak it. And so it's just become one of those recognizable aspects of Sonic in Japanese, is that he says a lot of English phrases. This level is it's pretty tricky. But as long as you kind of focus and be aware of your surroundings, there's a lot of really good shortcuts that you can take. In this section right here, we got to take out all these enemies. No! I wanted to be cool and skip, but it turns out I needed to actually kill those enemies. Let's try this again. I've always been a big fan of volcano-themed levels in video games. There's something about the rough, rocky ground being lit up by lava, just by like eruptions and stuff, that I think looks really cool. It's unrealistic as heck, for sure. You could not be in an environment like this and survive, obviously, but that's the fun thing about video games. We don't have to care about physics. And just do stuff because it looks cool. The bass guitar is really nice. And the music here. This, so this soundtrack was the beginning of, I guess maybe not the beginning, but one of the very first times that, what's the guy's name? I believe it's Tomoya Otani. He took over for like a Sonic soundtrack. It's like pretty much all the level themes, all the major stuff was written by him. And he is an extremely, extremely talented musician. His music is absolutely breathtaking. And he's been a mainstay in the Sonic series for quite some time. Out of all the people that have been in charge of Sonic music, I do think that I like Jun Sonoe's music the best. Especially with like Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure 2. I think those are my favorite Sonic soundtracks, but Mr. Otani's music is definitely not to be overlooked. It's a little sad that he got his big break with this game. which was not received well. But ever since he stuck around, he was in like Sonic Unleashed and Generations and all the other Sonic games from that point on. And like Sonic Colors and stuff. And he's been doing a fantastic job with the music from the Sonic series. Oof. Toasty. Oh no! Alright, well, I may have missed that jump, but it wasn't too detrimental. Managed to save it. I really appreciate that these like transitions between levels are so smooth, so fast. The loading screens are really quick. Gosh, it feels so nice to be playing this. I'm so happy that this exists. And that it's just like a free-to-play mod. I think the other thing that I need to actually just like look at it. I think it's Chaos X is the person behind this this fan recreation. I want to call it a mod, but it's not really a mod. I guess it's a fan game. Oh, Sonic, you dork. I forgot what I was even gonna say. Oh yeah, I think one of the advantages that they have with this project is that for the sake of PR, Sega really just wants to avoid all things Sonic 06. Oof. It's a nice little effect with the lava. It doesn't just like take your rings, you like gradually lose them. Yeah, but for the sake of PR, Sega really just wants to avoid everything about this game. And as a result, it's extremely unlikely that this ever would get a proper remake from Sega themselves. It's very rare for this game to ever even get acknowledged by them, except for, like, running jokes. So, it's likely that for copyright reasons, Sega wouldn't even bother, like, I don't know, messing with these guys. Sega is extremely hands-off. Extremely hands-off with fan-made content, which is a very nice thing. I really respect that about the company. So now, as you can see here, we're playing as Knuckles. We gotta light up all of these things. This is a puzzle that really was not good. The mechanics did not work in the slightest. So it's been fixed. Combat with Knuckles feels extremely good now that just everything about like the controls of the game have been fixed. He feels like a really nice combination of the Sonic Heroes Knuckles as well as the Sonic Adventure 2 Knuckles. He's got a lot of his like combat abilities from Heroes, but he's also got his gliding. Gliding and climbing was another one of those things about the original that was completely broken. There was all kinds of glitches. You'd stick to walls. And there's absolutely none of that in this version, which is really nice. Thank you, Knuckles! I probably could have gone through that that special ring, but it's fine. We're at the end. When I see all of these levels, the one thing I keep thinking, I'm really excited to see the in future updates the campaigns as Shadow and Silver, especially Shadow. Maybe I'm kind of an odd duck here. Out of the 3 gameplay styles in the original, I liked playing as Shadow the best. And mostly it was because I didn't like the way Sonic handled because Shadow was a bit more, like, not slow, but balanced, I think he felt better to play as. And I don't know, maybe it's just maybe it's just me, but the vehicle segments of Shadow, I wasn't too mad at those. I thought they were just kind of silly fun. So I look forward to seeing how those get retooled in the remakes. Everything about Shadow's campaign in Sonic 06 was my favorite about that. The storyline around Shadow was not bad. I think they're, like, Shadow in his fight against Mephiles. I think it actually was a pretty interesting story. The time travel aspect made it kind of suck, but, you know. Given what they had to work with, it was a highlight for that game. And so I'm just really excited to see how they tackle things like that. Gotta be careful on this. There's a lot of interesting mechanics in this level, like conveyor belts and weight-influenced platforms and all that. Oh no! I homing tagged a little fast there. I will say, purely because my Xbox 360 controller is a little old and drifty, and, like, the buttons are kind of... they've seen their share of wear and tear and all that. For that reason alone, it doesn't quite feel too good to play this game. But that's purely on me. That has nothing... that's not a criticism against the game itself. It would be really nice if they'd allow for, like, other controller types. I know it's really hard to get, the Switch Pro controller working with anything, but if they could add support for that, I would use that all the time and absolutely love it, because I really enjoy my Switch Pro controller, and I'm really glad it works with Steam, but for games like this, it doesn't work, so it's a little sad. Oh, shoot! Oh, that was close. So that's the thing there. You gotta hit that switch to prevent the train from crashing, because Elise is on the train right now, and Eggman is trying to get it to blow up and all that. So you gotta hit those switches before the train reaches that part of the station. That's kind of the gimmick of this level. And I just barely timed it. Just barely saved Elise there. Alright. Got these sections here where we can grind. I really do enjoy how fast you can take out enemies with your homing attack and with the bounce. Now we got the Mach speed section here. Like I said, even though it controls better, Mach speed is still just very difficult because of the level design. Sonic moves very fast, and so you got to be aware of what's going on. But with the little quality of life touches, it makes it feel less like you're fighting against Sonic's speed, and more like it's just a decent challenge, which is really impressive. All right, I gotta catch up to this train. Now that train exploded right as I got to the goal. Was that the train with Elise on it? Did she technically die? I forget how that works in the normal game.